HDB resale prices have been getting a lot of attention in the past several years as the prices seems to be consistently increasing. According to HDB statistics, compared to 2009, HDB resale flat prices have increased by about 83% in 2024. I mean, yeah, you can argue that the increase this quarter is not as extreme as the previous quarter and whatnot, but there's no escape from the fact that the resale HDB flats are getting more expensive compared to 10 to 15 years ago. In this video, I'm going to discuss what are the potential factors behind this price surge. The first reason is probably the fear of losing. Sellers won't simply think about how much they paid for their BTO before and ask for a small profit. Take Sky Terrace at Dawson for example. When it was launched in 2009, 5-room BTO started from $532,000, but when sold in the open market after MOP, a seller managed to get $1.4 million for their 5-room flat. If you know your next door neighbor has sold their flat for $1.4 million, would you sell your flat for $700,000 if it's the same size? No, right? The next transaction is usually higher than the previous one. At least the seller and their agent will try to aim high. Although having property transaction data accessible to everyone is very helpful for various reasons, but the reality is, it also fuels this sense of competition that drives prices high. And although the $1 million resale HDB flats are still in the minority, however, because it's usually covered in the news whenever it happens, it creates the impression that it has become the norm. All of a sudden, paying $700,000 or $800,000 for a resale HDB flat seems normal when compared to the $1 million flats. Another reason that contributes to the high resale HDB price is the increasing cost of private properties. According to URA data, in 1 decade, condo prices on average have increased by about 62%. However, Singapore's median income only increased by 40% in a decade. This means the condo price increase has outpaced the average income increase, making condo prices out of reach for many. As the condo price hikes, potential buyers are priced out and turn their attention to HDB resale flats. This segment of the population might have a bigger budget than the average household. That's why they can pay a high price for resale HDB flat because it's still cheaper than a condo. I believe the government also recognizes this problem, hence they are putting a maximum income ceiling for future resale buyers who are interested in purchasing plus and prime projects. But this is not applicable to the existing HDB flats, so we won't be able to see an immediate effect. The next one is related to BTO. Let's assume you have to wait for about 2 years of balloting to finally get a queue number, then another 4 years wait for the construction time, and another 6 months for renovation. That's 6.5 years of waiting time in total. Those who are not keen to wait that long and have the budget typically just go for the resale market. The balloting system to a certain extent is impacting the waiting time as well. While the HDB balloting system is designed to be fair, there are some downsides to it. The random nature of the ballot means even qualified applicants can wait for a long time, especially in estates with high demand. There's no guarantee you'll get a flat even after multiple tries. You might say, well, if you want a higher chance, then get a flat in ulu-ulu area lah. But if you look at it from the buyer's perspective, if they have to wait around 6.5 years to move in, it is understandable that many are choosing to be in a mature estate. If the government has a lot of readily built flats where the buyers can just pay and move in soon after, then I believe that will greatly reduce the demand for resale flats. I believe that some government policies might have unintended consequences that heat up the resale market even further. For example, take the plus and prime classifications. The original intention is good, that new BTO projects in great locations can get more subsidies, but at the same time, they will be subjected to a longer 10-year MOP rule, smaller buyer pool due to income ceiling, etc. But because the rule doesn't impact existing HDB flats, that inspires some of the flat sellers and their agents to use the new public housing model to push the asking price up. They argue that resale HDB flats in areas where plus and prime projects are located are more value for money because they come with the amenities but not with the 10-year MOP and other restrictions. Another policy that I think has unintended consequences is the 15-month waiting period for condo downgraders before they can purchase a resale HDB flat. It indirectly sends a signal for couples under 55 years old to think very carefully before committing to purchase a condo. Why? Because it will be troublesome to downgrade later on in case of life event changes such as disability or retrenchment. This makes couples who are on paper able to buy a condo condo might opt to buy a resale HDB flat instead to be more financially prudent. Changes in CPF housing grants also have an impact. Although it was intended to make HDB flats more accessible, this led to some sellers increasing their asking price to reflect the additional grants, making the eventual resale price become even higher. Another reason I can think of is the increase of newly MOP flats. As HDB flats complete the 5-year MOP, they become eligible for resale, adding to the overall supply in the resale market. On paper, more supply should mean lower prices, but unfortunately in Singapore, resale HDB prices are usually soaring high when they just reach MOP. This is because the flat is still relatively new, in good condition, and offers the maximum remaining lease duration compared to other resale flats. Buyers usually are willing to pay a premium for such properties, further driving up the resale prices. Last but not least is location. This plays a significant role as well. Locations with desirable amenities naturally command higher prices. This can include things like being close to good schools, parks, malls, and public transport. Some people are willing to pay more to be close to the things that make their life easier and more enjoyable. Even if the property itself is not that big or well renovated, the fact that it's in a good spot can significantly increase its value. And sometimes, the presence of nearby condos can also have impact to the HDB resale flat prices in the same area. Why? Because if they are next to each other, the resale HDB flat will be perceived as more value for money as you get the same amenities, but the property cost itself is much less. This will drive up the competition to get the flat and eventually increase the price. If I can sum up this lengthy video, basically the resale HDB flat prices kept increasing because it is the most affordable housing option in Singapore if you don't want to wait for a BTO. To get resale HDB flat prices under control, the nuclear option would be to strictly limit HDB owners to sell their flat back to the government instead of reselling it to the open market. But that will crash the property market and create a bunch of new problems, so I don't think the government will go there. So, a more sensible alternative to control the price is probably with additional regulations for existing HDB flats and not just future ones. This is why I personally think another cooling measure is right around the corner, which I have discussed in a separate video. So, what do you think? Do you have other ideas of what the government can do to curb HDB resale prices? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!